I did the MBA Sloan Fellows program at MIT. It's an MBA program for old people like me. I was working on a project with my fellow student from America. He was a serial entrepreneur, had invested in many startups. We looked at this project proposal and then we said, Jeff, this is a project that has a 1 in 100 chance of success. Then he looked at me, he said, we should go for it. And I was a civil servant, if the project was 99 out of 100 chance of success, I would be looking at how to make it 100 out of 100 chance of success. I know looking after residents is very different from making government policies, but it is a different form of public service that is more direct, that is more personal, and I can bring my experience and my networks to bear and help to improve the lives of the residents I look after. Well, public service has always been my North Star. I have worked in the public service for 24 years and it's something that is a career that's very fulfilling for me. I find a lot of meaning in doing the work that I did. In some ways, going to politics is an extension of that. It's a more direct and personal way of doing public service. I've worked in many different sectors. I've worked in transport, I've worked in education, I've helped build and develop small and medium enterprises. So these are daily problems that I think a lot of residents as well as people who are in the constituency face on a day-to-day basis. Singapore will always, I think, going forward, be a manpower-constrained economy. That will be the reality. The important thing for us is to make sure that at the workplace, Singaporeans are treated fairly. That's why when I was at the Ministry of Manpower, we were working on legislation on workplace fairness. That has helped, I think, reassure Singaporeans that in the workplace, they will not be discriminated against. They will be given a fair shot at the jobs that are available. We are trying to create good jobs for Singaporeans. That's ultimately our goal. Our Singaporean workforce is small. There's not enough Singaporeans to go around to take up all the jobs that we are creating. So some level of foreign manpower will always be needed. And this will be true both at the top end, where we're trying to bring in skills and capability that Singaporeans do not have. It's also true at the lower end, where we are looking at jobs that Singaporeans don't want to take up. It is a matter of then trying to balance the needs of the economy with the social sort of adjustments that people have to make from having people who are different from them in their midst. The key, I think, is not to have these adjustments be too sudden, too difficult. I have both the policy experience as well as the networks in many different areas, whether it's transport, whether it is SME development, whether it's education. And these are the concerns that many of our residents in Chua Chu Kang are concerned about. They are concerned about bus links, they are concerned about childcare availability, they are also concerned about where they can get their businesses going and where they can get their daily goods of living. Chua Chu Kang is both a old estate and a new estate. The area where we are in right now is quite a new area. Quite a lot of new BTOs, 7 to 10 years. Population, a lot of young parents with young children. And some of the challenges that they have on connectivity in terms of having enough bus routes to go to work or where they want to go, I think it's something for us to continue to work on. Having worked in transport, I think I have the ability to be able to work with the transport authorities to try to improve the transport connectivity in the area. Thomson East Coast Line was an MRT line that we started thinking about conceptualizing 10 to 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago actually, to be specific. That was when I was first at the Ministry of Transport. I remember it was a piece of paper at that time, just a concept. Now to see the MRT line really running, functioning, taking passengers, it's really a wonderful thing. It's tangible. When we decided to build the line, it was at a time where we knew our public transport capacity was a little bit short. And what we wanted to do was to restore the confidence of Singaporeans in public transport. We said we would build the best possible MRT line that we could build. And now you see it. You see that the Thomson East Coast Line has the longest trains, has the biggest stations, the most number of exits. And it was a commitment from us at that time to build it. But these things take time. MRT line takes 10 to 15 years to build. And in the meantime, you have to have the population with you. You have to explain to them that these improvements are coming. When I was in education, I helped to set up the Singapore Institute of Technology, and that was the pathway for our polytechnic graduates to go on to university programs that were in niche industries but were very industry relevant. I remember very vividly when we attended the matriculation ceremony for the first time with the parents and with the students, the pride that the parents had in their sons and daughters now going to university, taking a degree program. I remember in the very beginning when we were setting up an SIT, the question was, is this a credible university? Are these credible programs? And in fact, what happened was that in the first year of study, the universities failed a lot of students. And we thought, oh, this is going to be bad. What does it mean for the poly students? But the public took it very positively because the universities were not prepared to lower their standards or to adjust their standards in any way. People saw that as a sign of credibility. I've been meeting a lot of residents, and of course there are in a general election issues that are very local, but when you talk to the residents, there is a very strong interest and sense in what's happening around the world. And a lot of residents ask about, what we're going to do, or how is Singapore going to get through this period? What is the impact on them on their daily lives? What's important for us is to help our small and medium enterprises. And for Singapore, SMEs range from the heartland shop in the HDB all the way to SMEs who are competing globally for opportunities for growth. And we have to be able to help them get through this period of uncertainty. For instance, if you are a domestic service, you are primarily affected by the cost of your inputs, the goods that you import. When you are a export-oriented company, a company that's overseas, you are affected by the tariffs. So we have to see, and where we can, we will have a whole government initiative to make sure that we support the businesses and get through this period of uncertainty. In recent years, one of the hardest things I've had to deal with was the passing of my father. He had stage 4 cancer. We discovered it too late. I think dealing with how parents pass on is something that every child has to deal with at some point in your life. But you think you are prepared for it, but when it has to happen, you have to make difficult decisions. So you have to decide. I was the eldest son, I have to make these decisions for him, and it was not easy. At the end of the day, what we want to do is to make sure that for all sons and daughters, that they're able to cope with this sort of situation.